Hey, X-Rock fans, it's Big J here from the morning after, and we're really lucky. We get to do artist interviews from time to time. We get to do those live and in person here at the X-Rock studios during an X session. Sometimes they're on the phone, sometimes they're live, and sometimes they're pre-recorded. That's the case in this particular event because we got the chance to talk to Simon from Biffy Clyro, and he lives in Scotland. So that is what you're going to see here coming up with the morning after and Simon. But want you to stick around after the interview because Simon sent us a performance piece that he would love for you to see. So stick around after the interview. Thanks. Simon, hi. How are you?
Good, thanks. How you doing? Sorry for keeping you waiting.
No, good, man. Thank you very much for making time for us. How are things?
Pleasure. Not bad, not bad. Getting a bit bored, but all good. How are you, gents?
We're hanging in there, about the same, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You doing all your shows from home then?
Well, we've been very fortunate. We for a while we did, but we've been able to get back together and being socially distant at work here the best that we can. So it was interesting though to do our morning shows from a different location. I can say that for sure.
I bet, yeah, it's different when you're doing it over your own breakfast in your own house. I'm sure you'll be glad to be back. Well, thanks for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. So tell us a little bit about how you have been spending the time. You said you're a little bit bored. How has the time been going for you?
Well, the first 6 or 7 weeks, I did a bunch of online sessions, which was great. It gave me a bit of structure to my week, and it was nice to do that in lieu of not going out on the road. Since then, I'm kind of losing. I'm really keen to get on the road. I know we're a long way away from playing live shows, but I'm having to kind of find other things to do at home because normally I just work in music at home, and I've kind of feel like I've lost the purpose of that at the moment. So I've been doing lots of DIY. I've been doing lots of Lego, which no grown man should be spending an awful lot of time doing, but I've spent an indecent number of hours doing Lego, and just getting our house organized, because normally when we're on tour, you're away from home for like 3/4 of the year. So all these things that I've been ignoring for the last 10 years, now I can finally get them done. So yeah, I'm ticking boxes in the house. Very unromantic, very un-rock and roll, but needs must.
Yeah, and you've run out of excuses to not do them, so you're kind of stuck. You got to get those things done. I just picture you building. I picture you building Lego sets of your stage. That's what I picture you doing with Legos.
I didn't even think about that. That's exactly the next thing I'm going to do. That's a brilliant idea. As long as it's not too narcissistic. But yeah, just make lots of Biffy shows. Love it.
It was my idea, not yours, so that can take the narcissism right out of it.
We'll split any money. I'll get in touch with Lego and we can split it.
Right.
Love it, love it. I wanted to ask you, what's it like? You know, obviously the record probably ready to come out. You're done all the work on it, and then the pandemic hits, and so things get postponed until later on this year before you release the latest album. What's that like for the band? I mean, is it just more of the waiting game that you've been used to playing?
Yeah, it's strange because I felt like we were almost playing the waiting game last year because we recorded the album last year. And we were just about to hit the road. We were just about to start on the journey of the album. And so, to be honest, the rug has been pulled a little. I mean, I'm very grateful that my family's healthy and, you know, I've got a roof over my head. So I'm very aware of the context of what I'm saying here. But yeah, it felt like everything just stopped. And I'm actually, at the moment, I'm trying not to think too much about the record so that in a month or so, when we start to build up towards the release, I can start to get excited again, because normally we're out on the road and we're introducing the songs to people, or we're doing sessions, or we'd be coming in and seeing you guys face to face. And there's an excitement to that kind of keeps us rolling over. But it's strange for us as a band that have been working non-stop for about 15 to 20 years to suddenly stop. Like, this is the longest time we've not played music. It's the longest time we've not been together, which is, even that's a strange aspect. But I'm still trying to work on still writing some songs, working on a couple of other projects, some heavier stuff. Like I'm doing a grindcore project and a drone project, nice. Just to kind of let that part of me kind of function without necessarily writing more songs for Biffy. But yeah, I mean, it's tough for us all. How are you guys adapting though? You guys doing all right?
Yeah, and it's one of those things where we have the opportunity now to do these kind of Zoom interviews with artists like yourself, all the way in another country, getting a chance to see you. It's kind of brought about a new kind of way of doing things, which I think is pretty cool, and a chance for people to see a different view of interaction between artists and people who get to play their music.
That's true. And I do appreciate, I feel like the level of communication, even though we are other sides of the world, there's kind of it feels more intimate, for want of a better word. I'm sure that you guys have felt that, or, people don't put on their mask quite as much in that facade when they're talking from home. So I'm sure you're getting a lot more of an honest kind of representation of how people are feeling. Because sometimes when, if we were to come to Jersey and come in and see you, we'd be in the zone. We've just played shows. We've got that cock of the walk, hey, walk a little. And I think there's something kind of quite disarming about interviewing like this. And I do really appreciate your time, but I appreciate that it doesn't feel quite so box ticking as sometimes it does. And I'm sure it does for you guys at points too. If someone's coming in, it's like, we need to talk about this and this. We've got 15 minutes and then that's it. Whereas at the moment we're kind of talking about bigger things, and it's unusual. We've all had to process an awful lot of new information, new worries, new realities. And what is promising is how adaptable we are as human beings. That's what's the most impressive thing to me. Like, the fact that we're still able to do a version of our work and our jobs. Well, not me so much, but like you guys, being able to, people are adapting really quickly, and I find that really impressive. Because it was a heck of a challenge, and it still is a hell of a challenge what we're going through. But I have hope for everyone.
Good, and thank you for making time for us, man. It means the world for us, for you carving out a little bit of time to hang out with us. One that you talked about some of the many projects that you are doing and have done. One of the things I wanted to touch base with you on is you had a chance to do something that I think is amazing, which is help write a movie. And that's something that happened last year. What was that process like? Was it something that you enjoyed? Would you do it again? Or are you like, okay, I've done that now, I'm good?
No, it very much appeals to me. I think what I've learned is I'm probably a bit more of a control freak than I thought. So like the music and everything I found really, really straightforward, because we made the album first. Actually, okay. we made all the music, and then the album was the movie was a response to those songs. Now, I think if I was going to do something like that again, I'd probably try and kind of fulfill my own, my own journey, my own adventure for the movie, and kind of be a bit more selfish about it. But collaborating with someone who has experience of making movies and the process, and I sometimes think that making an album is stressful, but see the movie world, oh my God, there's so many people with their finger in the pie. Money is so much more important. Money is king, as it is in most industries, but specifically in the movie industry. So it was interesting to see all the hoops you have to jump through, everyone you have, it's just a bigger mission, I guess, than making a record. So it hasn't put me off. I love the creative of it, and I love the thought of doing something a very singular point of view. I'm a big fan of Darren Aronofsky's movies, and like everyone else, Christopher Nolan and things like that. So I'd love to do like a real low budget Christopher Nolan movie. Do you think that would be possible?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah.
I'd watch it.
Oh, yeah. You might be the only one, Big J. You might be the only one.
I don't know about that. I find it interesting, too, what you did with the fans, with the tiny indoor fan works. What's it like to have fans do something like that and put something together with your music and get to see them and their love of what you guys do?
Oh, it meant the world to us, especially because we're in lockdown. We were meant to do, over here, I think we've been in probably a slightly stricter lockdown than you guys have. So we're still kind of only meant to be out like twice a day, and you can now say hello to someone from a different household, but that's just started this week. So it was strange to be asked to do like a live performance without our fans. So the first thing that I wanted to do was get video of all our fans that would be in that front row of the show and whose faces perhaps I would normally see at a gig, you know, people who travel around with us. And it was just wonderful to see some friendly faces and to know that the fans are missing this as much as we're missing it, you know. So it felt like a wonderful thing we could do together. But it's if anything, it's made me miss touring even more, you know, because of some of the folk that did it are natural front men and front women. You know, it took me 10 years to learn how to strut around a stage, and some of these folk are just straight away like full on attitude, like absolutely look amazing, sound amazing. So I need to give the doff of the hat to the folk because they did a fantastic job. Although I didn't see your video, guys. If we do that again, I want to see you guys do some hey.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. You know, one thing about the good old United States of America, sometimes we can be a little bit late to the party. I mean, Biffy has been a very big deal over in Europe and Asia for a very long time, finally starting to get some really good success here in the States as well, specifically in the rock world, which is where you guys, you know, kind of butter your bread over there in Europe and Asia, of course. But, you know, you've been together for 25 years. You and the brothers have been making music for 25 years. Is it sometimes surreal to think about that? And is there a secret to staying together that long?
It definitely is surreal. I think we never had a grand plan when we started. This was like our high school band that we started when we were 15. The main tip I would give to anyone wanting to be in a band or something is just make sure you get on with each other. Make sure you like each other and you like the music you're playing. And it sounds so basic, but sometimes people join bands, you know, maybe because they want to play a certain instrument and they'll join and they're playing music that doesn't connect with them or doesn't have a personal, you know, doesn't make them have goosebumps or anything. And there's no point in making music unless it makes you feel something. So for me, don't join a band with twins. That's made things a little harder. It's always 2 against 1. I mean, I'm obviously joking because we've been doing it for so long, but being friends is so important because there's so many ups and downs you go through as a band. And you know what? If all you want to do is make money or something, there's plenty of other things you can go and do. It's about believing in what you're doing and believing in your friends. So that's what's kept us going. And we've had fallouts over the years. You know, it's not like everything's been, you know, a straight harmonious for years and years, but you learn so much about each other. And the fact that we've grown together, we've become men together is really weird. You know, when I think back to us, because we were friends when we were 7 years old. And then we started the band when we were like 14, 15. Played shows at school before we left, you know, and like at 15 years old, I remember making children cry at our school because we did a cover of Black Hole Sun, and just when the drums come in, the doom 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 boom boom, and like the whole crowd started. I say crowd, the pupils all started crying, and I think that was when I realized I want to do this forever.
Oh, what an amazing story. You know, we can't wait for the album to come out. Instant History is amazing. And we can't wait to hear the rest of that thing.
Oh, thanks so much. I think I'm really proud of the record. It's a real rockin' album. I know the singles, it's always tough for us to pick which single kind of represents the record because we always make eclectic albums. But this is a kick-ass record. I think you're going to dig it, boys. And I really appreciate your time, and I will come in to see you face to face as soon as we can, if you'll have us.
You bet we'll have you.
Very much. Awesome. Thank you for the time, Simon. We appreciate it very much, sir.
A pleasure. Be safe, gents. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay positive.
You too, sir.
As well.
Bye-bye.
Dear God, adjust my dreams for me, 'cause all I learned is instant history. Is this how the surface will break, releasing the pressure, the horrors that await? 'Cause hell had no fury like a human born. It's only real if you can't Why do I fear it? This is the sound that we make. Can you hear it? This is the sound that we make. Can you hear it? I love this sound when it breaks. Can you hear it? This is the sound that we make. Can you hear it? Dear God, we're shouting in the streets, 'cause all our love is instant history. We could go to any time or place, but ministry's a nightmare. I'm sure we'll wait. I got a fever in my bones, gets me so high that I can taste it, and now I'm losing all control. Why do I fear it? This is the sound that we make. Can you hear it? This is the sound that we make. Can you hear it? I love this sound when it breaks. Can you hear it? This is the sound that we make. Can you hear it? Da 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 dum. 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 It's hell and no fury like a human born. It's only real if you can't replace it. And now I'm losing all control. Why do I fear it? This is the sound that we make. Only exist in the noise that we bring. This is the sound that we make. We can learn what we learn. I love this sound when it breaks. We try to position our lives on a string. This is